This show's called Drewz Viewz. I'm doing Car Tuesday with Steven Universe, so check it out, okay? Now people love the verse, like, subscribe even. Now let's sit back and watch me watch it. Steven!
Hey, we got Drewz Viewz here, back for Car Tuesday, reacting to cartoons on Tuesday. And you already know that means a little Steven Universe, The Verse, Season 2. And today, I'm up to Season 2, Episode 24 and 25, the second and third last episodes of the seasons. What I've been told, however, by I guess a commenter, is that these two episodes kind of end the season, or they go together, I guess, and the episode 26, I don't know, it's like a little bit of a prologue or something on the season. But what I'm going to do for the reactions is I'm already planning on doing another podcast like I did after season 1 to discuss the season as a whole. So later on in the week, I'm going to have my reaction to the final episode and the first part of the podcast, possibly the only part. I'm going to ask for any questions if anyone wants to leave questions here. If there's enough, then I'll maybe do a second part of the podcast tackling the questions, or include them all together. I don't know. But the point is, Season 2 will be wrapped up later this week. And then next Car Tuesday should start things off with Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2. So, anyway, I'm excited to get into it. We're really ramping things up. So, previous to the last two episodes, last week's 2-pack, we got a lot of Peridot stuff in a row. She took a little backseat last week to give us some backstory and some Steven development. So the backstory, both episodes took place on Steven's, 14th birthday. In the morning, in the first episode, Garnet told him the story about how her two parts, Ruby and Sapphire, met originally. So essentially, it was thousands of years ago. There was someone, I believe, named Blue Diamond in charge on Earth. Sapphire was kind of like, she was a member of her court. Apparently, it's kind of like a medieval court situation, I guess. And, kings, queens, and that, I assume. I don't know if that means Blue Diamond is like a queen or something, or was back then. But regardless, Sapphire was part of the court, and she was kind of like the sage. She's the one that has the future vision, as we already knew. She told her one thing, it turned out to be wrong. When Ruby, who's one of her bodyguards, made a move, they ended up fusing, kind of accidentally, I guess. Evidently, it was the first time in history that the gems knew of that two disparate gems had fused. So earlier in the episode, we saw Ruby fuse with other rubies to just make a giant ruby. But this time, we obviously got Garnet, which she initially looked like, kind of looked like a cotton candy vibe. And then they ran away because they were going to break Ruby for that sin, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. And of course, Rose met back up with her, Rose and Pearl, the Pearl we know. Earlier in the episode, when they had fused initially, Rose was attacking them. She was the rebels. I mentioned it last time. There's some Star Wars vibes last time, especially the Blue Diamond's appearance and how they're calling them the rebels and all that. She said, wait, Pearl, don't kill them or don't do anything. I guess thinking maybe you should see them later, or just because it was like a new thing Rose hadn't seen with the fusion between two disparate gems. And Rose evidently is kind of the scientist type, where she's curious about these things, humans, different types of fusions, all that. She told Garnet, never change your ways. Like I mentioned last time, I was kind of looking for a little more, I would have liked a little more build up between how Sapphire and Ruby were even before they kind of met here. But maybe we'll get that someday. I don't know. Then in the second episode, on his actual birthday celebration, Connie comes over, Greg comes over, shows them the photos from all his birthdays, realized that Steven, Connie didn't even, I guess, know how old Steven was. Maybe she was assuming he was her age, 12, because he kind of looks like that. He doesn't really look 14. Again, it's kind of hard to tell in animation, but I think the point is he looks younger than he is. The gems themselves don't age much. He hadn't aged much. By the end of the episode, he got him a little facial hair. But I don't know. I think he's still going to age slowly. Anyway, the whole crux of that episode was he was using the shape-shifting type of thing that Amethyst does and all that, but he was using it too much to shift himself older, and then it turned him into a baby for a bit. So I guess he can do the shape-shifting thing now, but he can't do it too much, I guess, or whatever. And I think the point is he is going to grow pretty slow, but like Connie said, she'll stick by him either way. Although if it is going to be some type of romantic relationship down the line, then if he still keeps looking young all the time and she gets older like a normal human, I don't know how that's really going to work. But anyway, with the wrap up to the season here, I'm expecting this to get back into Peridot territory, back into cluster territory, and see what we're going to do about all this. So without further ado, I'm going to roll right into it. Alright, so yeah, I don't exactly know what that last episode of the season is going to be, if it's not really pushing the plot forward more, and it's like an episode looking back or whatever it's going to be. But evidently the cluster business is continuing on to season 3, which makes sense, I guess. Seems to be a rather big storyline. I'm not terribly surprised what happened at the end there, but I was thinking for a little bit that maybe Peridot would continue being more of a gray character into next season, or she actually would betray them there, and then come around at a later point maybe or something. But I like this too. Get her pretty much on the side. I mean, she's still gonna be annoying to them in some respects, or still not understand things, but she evidently did learn enough that Earth shouldn't be destroyed, even though just earlier in the episode she was telling Steven how great the diamonds are and all that. When we met them, she realized it wasn't the case, I suppose. So Yellow Diamond is pretty imposing looking, I guess. Like tall, looks like she's wearing like pants or something. I had to go back and take a look at her again, but with the spiky head and all that, she has I guess all these diamonds. I didn't realize last time that little ballerina thing with Blue Diamond was also a pearl. I realize that now, and I guess all the diamonds have pearls. Really are like your direct assistant or whatever. And that pearl is being a little snooty as well, which is funny. I wonder if it's the same voice actress doing all these or not, but evidently not all pearls know each other. That was a good joke. Yes, it was fair. I mean, I'm glad we got to meet Yellow Diamond here. It was a fairly low-key kind of finale here in terms of like much action happening. I mean, they got now I'm trying to even remember why they went to the moon there in the first place. Something to do with the drill, I guess. But anyway, was for us to learn more about the diamond, which continued into this last episode here. So, looking forward, I mean, I'll probably make some predictions in my podcast episode coming out next, but in general, it looks like, so cluster storyline continues. There's no way this Yellow Diamond or any of these leaders there are gonna like go, despite what I mean, they already have their society set up to give all the orders, evidently. Even until this episode, Peridot thought that was like her whole purpose, was to serve them. So I don't think they're going to be swayed by any argument here. It's going to be a war again. For a second, I thought Yellow Diamond was going to be like, or didn't even really know what Earth was, or like it was just like one in a line of 100 planets that she was like, oh, this one, and then she's kind of like saying, wipe this miserable thing off my map, so maybe she knows a little more about it. But I would imagine that Yellow Diamonds will send more people now to get it done, since Peridot directly, went against her there and said she wouldn't do it. And it's obviously good that Peridot didn't give away that there were the crystal gems there and Steven and all that. I did think she had been trying to contact her in earlier episodes before they had met up, with the CGs there. But I guess none of those messages made it out, because I assume in those messages she was saying what really happened. And we didn't see the reemergence of Jasper and Lapis this time here, unless there's something about that in the last episode. So I would assume that's gonna come up relatively soon again. Well, maybe not though, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out what Yellow Diamond's gonna do here, that Homeworld's gonna do. All I can really think of is to send more people down to fix the problem, they need this cluster completed, I guess, to destroy Earth. So we'll see. I'm assuming we'll meet some more crazy characters next season and get some more info about how Homeworld works. We'll see if my theory is right about there being these 4 diamond heads there, which it seems like based on that moon base. Yeah. Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for Drewz Viewz today, Car Tuesday. Like I said at the beginning, check back soon, probably in a couple of days from now. I'll have Season 2, Episode 36 reaction / little podcast discussion out. So do look out for that. Do subscribe to the channel here if you like these reactions. And please do leave me a comment this time about anything, but specifically any questions you want to throw in, you want me to tackle in a podcast episode relating to Season 2. I'd love for you to do that. And until then, I'm up out of here. Peace.